Have you ever been told to never whistle at night? It can summon spirit or far worse. To learn more about this, let me introduce you, spoiler-free, to Never Whistle at Night, an Indigenous dark fiction anthology that genuinely got under my skin. Never Whistle at Night is a collection of short horror stories, most of them between 10 to 20 pages, written by Indigenous authors from America and Canada. A lot of them are women, which was a welcome surprise, as the horror field is kind of close to women, in my opinion. The anthology is presented by Stephen Graham Jones, which is setting the bar quite high, and frankly it delivers. What impressed me the most is that one story felt out of place, and it's quite rare in an anthology. I think it shows a great work of creating from Shane Oak and Theodore C. Van Alst Jr. Every story managed in very little time to make me care about the characters and build an entire believable world. They are imaginative, harsh, sad, sometimes infuriating, but always incredibly entertaining. The horror in this collection is coming in many forms, some by using supernatural or fantastical elements, but some are even more terrifying because it's real-life horror. White Hills by Rebecca Warnhouse was especially shocking and disturbing in that regard. Here the monsters are human, filled with cruelty and an absurd need of power. And no matter what type of horror you prefer, supernatural, psychological, or deeply realistic, there is something here that will stay with you. One thing I love the most about this book is how I learned about tradition, indigenous mythology, and folklore, and even some words. These cultural elements never feel like decoration. They are essential to the stories being told, and I felt affected on an emotional level. I debated a lot with myself to know if I should just stick to the entertaining review or if I should address the hard stuff. Do I even have the legitimacy to do it? Disclaimer, of course I don't, but I can't in good conscience talk about this book and not tell you that some of the saddest stories are about characters who are on the wrong path, but not because they are bad people, but because they were taught from the beginning to feel ashamed of themselves or lesser simply because of where they are from or how they were born. The discrimination that exists is overwhelming still now, and that led me to discover the documentary Sugarcane. It's a very hard watch, but I think about the people who lived it, and I think that the least we can do is be educated about it. And if you are interested, it's streaming on Disney+, so please go watch. On a lighter note, I honestly enjoyed every single story, but a few stood out for me. I choose to not give too much explanation about them because any detail could be a spoiler. So here are my favorites. Kushtuka by Matilda Zeller, Hunger by Phoenix Boudreau, Behind Colin's Eyes by Shane Oak, Human Eaters by Royce K. Young-Wolf, The Scientist Horror Story by Darcie Little Badger, and Collection by Amber Blasser Wadzwala. Sorry if I mispronounce any of this. This book created a massive TBR for me. As I researched a lot of writers, I was also able to talk with some of them on Instagram, and they were incredibly kind and accessible. I really appreciate that. For a start, of course, there is a second one who is going to be released in September. It's called Back for Blood. And about the writers that are in this collection, I am particularly interested in the first novel from Matilda Ziegler. It Looks Like Us in the Dark, which will be released in October. From Darcie Little Badger, also a new release in fall 2026, Children of All. And from a previous work, I would be interested to read Elazzo and A Snake Falls to Earth. I had already on my e-reader Moon of the Crusted Snow by Rob Geschwig Rice. I'm very sorry, I don't know how it's pronounced. And now I want to read it even more. From Marcy R. Wendon, Murder on the Red River. And in the same vein as this anthology, I heard about Taktumi, which is an anthology of Arctic horror stories that should be interesting as well. So in short, Never Without Night, it's not just an amazing, strong horror anthology. It's also a book that is imaginative, brutal, heartbreaking, and deeply memorable for me. It scared me, yes, but more importantly, it really touched something in me, and it stayed with me long after I finished it. Let me know in the comments if you have read this book, and if so, which one of the short stories was your favorite, and if you'd like to see me more talk about short story collection, indigenous fiction, or just horror. Keep reading!